Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Awkward Situations, the series where you guys leave comments about situations that are embarrassing or awkward that are happening or have happened in your lives, and then we talk about those situations during the video. So that's what this is. Got some video game gameplay going on in the background, a little Modern Warfare Remastered DLC, and I look like a troll doll because I just do this on the weekends. Whatever this is, this me on the weekends, please accept. And I got the face cam going. I know some of you guys like the face cam, some of you guys don't really care. So I just figured I'd keep doing it, keep practicing being on camera and looking at a camera and stuff. So that's what's happening in this video. I'm really confident in two things on my channel, Awkward Situations and Shit from Last Week. So I upload both of those series on the weekend because most people watch YouTubes on the YouTubes. Watching the YouTubes, I'm a grandfather. Most people watch YouTube on the weekends, so that's when you can get the most potential video views usually. And I don't know what to upload every other day of the week, and that's pretty tough. It's hard once you're on the train to stop the train, get off of the train, think of video ideas, then get back on the train. I am envious of YouTubers that are confident enough in their abilities to upload great videos to not want to upload every single day. I want to upload every single day because I guess it would just be for statistical reasons like views and engagement and stuff like that, but I don't feel like I have the creative capacity to do that. And I also don't know if I have the creative capacity to upload 4 times a week or 3 times a week, because then your videos have to be really good and they have to get a lot of views. And if they don't, then it's like, oh, that's annoying. So I don't know, just a little complaining about the, I've probably bitched about that more than 100 times during my career on YouTube, just trying to figure out which side of the train I'm on. I'm like it's a creative train going towards some unknown destination. Am I on the everyday side? Am I on the every other day side? I don't know. But I'm just telling you guys that I like this series. I like your guys' comments. I like Shit from Last Week. I was working on that last night. I filmed a video in real life that I'm excited about that will either be uploaded Monday or Sunday. Shit from Last Week will either be uploaded Monday or Sunday, and this video I'm excited about will be uploaded the other day. If you're watching this beyond March 20th, it doesn't even matter because all those videos have been uploaded. So let's go to the first awkward situation right now. Hey Joel, so my sister recently got married and her now husband has a really hot sister. A little while ago, she broke up with her boyfriend, and so to help cheer her up, I invited her to be my +1 at a family friend's wedding. We had a great time flirting and dancing and ended up making out at the end of the night. Since then, we've been talking a lot and really like each other, but we don't want things to get very awkward since we are technically family now. She is also the only girl in the family and has 3 brothers, and they are very protective, and I don't know how they would react to us dating. Any advice helps, thanks. I thought this was a really interesting situation. I tried to put myself in the place of this dude, and I tried to put myself in the place of the sister's brothers. And if I have 2 younger siblings. I have a younger sister who is 21, 22, something, I don't know. They were all born after me, so it doesn't matter. And my brother is 24. And if he started dating someone my sister married, or someone who was related to someone my sister married, or vice versa, I would probably tell them that I don't. Well, first of all, we're not really like a super overbearing family, so when my sister or my brother, we're pretty open about stuff. Like, I don't care that they party a lot, or I don't care about knowing about their romantic partners. It's just not in me. I don't like, I'm not overprotective of my brother or sister, and they're not overprotective of each other or me. We're just pretty chill in that way. But if one of my siblings was getting involved in this situation, from your perspective, the guy who's going to start dating the sister-in-law, I would highly recommend to not do that, because it's difficult in the family dynamic. That person is theoretically always going to be involved in your family if those 2 people stay married. I'm getting so confused now. So your sister recently got married and her husband has a sister. Okay, I'm trying to keep this relationship spider web in my head. It's all complicated. But theoretically, they're going to be married forever. So theoretically, this girl, the sister-in-law, is always going to be in your life in some capacity. If it's not love, if it's just lust, and they can be easily confused. Attraction is very strong, and it can be confused with love, but love is a strong that lasts a long time, and attraction is a really strong that lasts a short time. So I would try to really figure out in your head if you want to go down this path, because I'm not going to tell somebody that they can't be with someone. That's dumb. If you really have a close connection to someone and it's not legal, or it's not illegal, I Googled it, it's not illegal to date your sister-in-law, it's just a little taboo, I would go down that path, but it's a little more high stakes. If I, being married to my wife, who I met in college and had no family or dynamics with or relationships with, if I'm walking on a high wire, you're walking on a high wire over 2 skyscrapers with F-16 jets flying by. Why are they flying by? I don't know. There's a war going on. Why are you walking on a wire between 2 towers while there's a war going on? Some type of weird protest? I don't fucking know. You need to figure out your own shit. But that's just, it's very dangerous because dangerous. It's just socially risky, because if you break up with her, then there's an awkward dynamic between yourself and your sister and her husband, probably even more than your own sister, and the 2 brothers who you are going to see at family functions, most likely. And even when you start dating, like I said, if I was the brother of one of my siblings in the scenario, I am the brother of my siblings. If one of my siblings was in this scenario, I would disapprove, and I might be a little cold to that person. I don't mean to be a dick, but it's just kind of a weird situation. And I would avoid it if you could. If it's a fun little lust thing, go for it. If it's something more, by all means, do what you want, man. But it is a risky situation. So just be conscious of that when you're trying to figure out if this is lust or love. Let's move on to the next awkward situation. Hey, nobody, I have a situation. I've had depression for a couple of years, and I recently started a new medicine, and it works great. There is just a small problem. This is a little embarrassing, but I can no longer bust a nut. I can get an erection and all of that, but I can actually not get off. This isn't good because I'm only 17, and it's not like I can say, hey, Mom, I can't jack off anymore because of this medicine. Can we ask the doctor what to do? Also, I'm going to college soon, and I hopefully plan to get a something. I guess I didn't want to see what he planned to do in his college career. But this is an easy one. You need to find some way to talk to your doctor about this if you're experiencing these symptoms. I know you said you're 17. If you were 18, you could probably schedule your own appointment. Even at 17, though, I would hope that if you told your parents, I'd like to talk to the doctor about my medicine, I just am experiencing some weird symptoms, and if they were saying, what are those symptoms? You could just say, I'm a little uncomfortable divulging that to you. And if my kid said that, I would be like, okay, I guess just go to the doctor. You're 17, you're almost an adult. So I would hope you could figure out some way to deal with that. I've dealt with depression myself, and I had the same problem before I was on medicine. So that's a little odd. Just being depressed in general, or having some fluctuation in your mental state, obviously affects certain other areas of your life. I went through a period in my senior year of high school when I didn't jack off for like 4 months. It was like I was training to be a priest or some shit. It was just incredible. Ever since I discovered it at a young age, like a caveman discovering fire, I was lighting fires multiple times a day. And to say the least, man, I hope my grandkids watch this series one day. But then during my senior year, I experienced depression, and it's something that runs in my family, something I was diagnosed with, something I got help with, and it's cool now. A lot of people go through it. It's a very common thing. Shouldn't be ashamed of it or anything like that. But I didn't jack off for 4 months, and until I got treatment, it didn't change. So it's kind of a flip-flop scenario for you. I just wanted to say that I could relate to it, and I think it's an easy one. Got to find a way to talk to your doctor about it. And if you, even if you do have to talk to your mom about it, it's not the most embarrassing thing in the world. If you think about it, dude, one day your mom might be in a retirement home or an old people's home. I'm sorry, that's a little depressing, but it's reality. Sometimes I'll look at my dad and just think, I might have to wipe my dad's ass one day. I might have to carry my dad to the bathroom. That's the cycle of life, They take care of you when you're young and help you control your bodily functions, and then you're adults kind of on the same plane, and then when your parents are old, you're probably gonna have to take care of them. It's not the most embarrassing thing in the world. So yeah, figure that shit out and bust some more nuts. That's so weird to say. Let's go to the next awkward situation. The other day in my history class, we were watching a video about Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the carnage of the atomic bombs. Well, when the video was saying how many people died, I read a text from one of my friends and laughed out loud really loud. I got suspended because the teacher wouldn't believe I wasn't being racist. Now the whole class thinks I'm racist. No one will talk with me. And when we chose groups for our project, people refused to group with me. What do I do? First of all, probably never look at your phone in class again, or try not to as much as possible, because it's like texting and driving. These social hazards can happen. And during texting and driving, actual physical hazards can happen, but I would just try to avoid being on your phone in school. It's a distraction from the learning, and things such as this can happen. So that's unfortunate. Unfortunate timing. Unfortunate things happen in high school. Sometimes you say something you don't mean, or it's perceived to that you said something you don't mean, like in this case. I didn't want to share this story because I've said it before. I've danced around it. I said something really inappropriate that got me a 3-day in-school suspension when I was in the 8th grade, and my parents were kind of upset about it, but they were kind of just like, you made a mistake, just move on. When you're really young, you tend to have a more offensive sense of humor. If you're, I don't know, into having a sense of humor, my friends and I made pretty offensive jokes, even up to until at the age of like 20 and 22 maybe. On YouTube, I felt like I was pretty offensive, and then I progressively just got, I would call it more mature. I mean, if you want to be offensive as an older person, that's fine. I don't know, I just find it a little less funny more than anything. I don't find it offensive, I just find it less funny. So I had a shock sense of humor as a younger kid, and in the 8th grade, we were playing dodgeball outside in PE, and we were going through a World War II week ourselves, and I had a lot of people in my gym class that were in my history class, which was immediately before my gym class, and we were watching stuff about World War II, whatever. One of my friends in this class was German. He was like 90% German, a very German heritage. And I said something incredibly stupid when he stepped up to the plate to kick the kickball. He was on my team, and I told him, I know you guys aren't going to judge me super hard. When you hear me say this, you're going to be like, that's not even that bad, Joel. But I think it's pretty offensive, just considering how anti-Semitic it is. But I yelled out to kick the ball like it's a Jew. And that is a stupid, dumb joke that I regret. And I didn't think my PE teacher was around at the time because she went into school to get something. But she was right next to me when I said it, and I just didn't know. She told me to go inside. I mean, if she could have swore, she probably would have told me to get the fuck inside. And I had an in-school suspension, and I just had to write a bunch of essays about why anti-Semitism is bad and all this stuff. And I'm actually pretty good at writing, so I mean, not to brag, but I thought they were pretty good essays. I learned my lesson. But I obviously think that's an incredibly stupid thing to say. I think everyone says at least one terribly dumb thing in their life. Many times it's multiple dumb things. I'm sure I've said multiple dumb things. That's just one that sticks out in my head because of how mostly unfunny it is and just anti-Semitic. I wouldn't worry too much about it. People will get over it. In this culture, I don't know how people don't forget things instantly. I mean, I forget something I saw on Twitter yesterday, but that's unfortunate. Obviously, apologize if you need to. But I'm also a little concerned about PC culture nowadays. I know a lot of people say that. That's kind of a hot button topic. But it does feel like people get offended a lot more easily. And I hate how often the term racist is used. I feel like it's really lost a lot of its meaning. And it shouldn't lose its meaning because it's an important word. It should be used in the context of something racist happening. But at the same time, it just feels like the word is really losing its meaning nowadays. And I feel like it's more important than ever to have really meaningful discussions with people and at the same time not jump to one end of the aisle or the other, one end of the political spectrum or the other. If you can't just have a rational conversation with someone, even if you completely disagree with them, I think that's a really unfortunate thing. And I know that is the case in today's society. People are more in their bubbles, and I don't mean to get super political. This isn't really even a political post, but I feel kind of bad for you in a way because you made a mistake. And I mean, calling someone racist, it's like a really a serious accusation, even though, I mean, like I said, everyone gets called a racist nowadays, so I guess it isn't that serious. PewDiePie's a racist, and so everyone's a racist. But it's unfortunate that that word is losing its meaning, and unfortunate that our culture is becoming a little too politically correct. There's some words that I don't like to say personally because of what they mean to me in my life. But I don't want to censor other people. I just wish people would have rational conversations, and it is unfortunate to see so much mudslinging and hatred. The internet kind of perpetuates that, but it's how it is, and it's something I'm going to have to deal with when I have kids of my own. So I hope you get it figured out, man, and you made a mistake, move on from it. Next situation says, Dear Joel, so for a couple of years, I've experienced symptoms of bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. However, now that I'm 19, it's gotten out of control, resulting in me quitting my job due to the stress in my head. I recently went to talk to a doctor and finally get an official diagnosis, but I'm not sure how I feel about the idea of being labeled crazy. I'm supposed to go again soon for the results, but like I said, I don't feel comfortable having to be medicated and labeled. Should I just skip the appointment? Thoughts would be much appreciated. I think it is a terrible idea to skip the appointment. If you're having an issue, just get the issue resolved. I don't know what I don't know why there's such a taboo around mental health in this country. I mean, Joel, I broke my leg, and I'm afraid of being labeled a cripple. So should I just not go get a cast on my leg? Because, I mean, people are going to be like, what's that cast on your leg? You know, it's just the same thing, except worse, because your brain is the control center of everything else going on in your body. I mean, this thing's the most important. I would say the dick is the most important because you got to have a strong dick game nowadays, but this thing's the most important. So, got to get that fixed. And it's not an optional thing almost. I don't know why you would even think about skipping the appointment. If you're having issues and you can't go to school, you have to quit your job, anything like that, just get it fixed. Everyone goes through it, even if people don't want to talk about it. I mean, labeled crazy, everyone's fucking crazy nowadays. The president's crazy. The news people are crazy. Everyone's crazy. Who cares? It's cool to be crazy now. Being crazy is cool. If you're normal and you don't have any issues, you're the crazy one. I had a tough time telling my mom what I was going through mentally in high school, and lo and behold, once I told her, she told me she's experienced the same things in her life and she still deals with them and, you know, is doing fine. And she told me some other relatives that have had the same issue. It's not a big deal at all. And I do want to say, I'm not a doctor, obviously, but you might not be experiencing schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. I mean, if you want to follow up and tell me your diagnosis, even if it's in private, I am kind of interested because it could just be autism. I've done a little bit of research, and you know, my wife works in that field, and there is a kind of a, not a correlation, but a confusion. Some people think they have bipolar disorder and they're actually autistic, and vice versa. So it might, you know, I don't know if one's better than the other to you, but it's, who cares? Label crazy. I mean, get your fucking broken leg, brain fixed. I've had to get my broken brain fixed. Everyone has issues. Just deal with them. It's the mature thing to do, and I hope you get it all figured out, man. That feels like I just yelled at him, and then I was like, but just good on you. I hate the taboo about mental health in this country. It's one of my pet peeves. So let's go to the last awkward situation. I don't want to make this episode too long, but I'm having fun just chilling here and answering questions because I've been editing shit from last week for a while, and that's fun to do, but it also burns you out. Hey Joel, I need advice. I haven't been to school all my life. I've been homeschooled for pretty much all my life except for preschool. I'm going to high school this year, and it's the first time I will go to school for years. I went to school for third grade for 3 days, but I was bullied and beaten up, and I'm terrified to go to school because of this. If you have any advice, or anyone here does, please comment. Thanks. Well, hopefully you're going into your freshman year like everybody else going into their freshman year, because that makes this transition a little bit easier. We had some new kids join our class in the 6th grade in middle school when everyone went to middle school for the first time, and freshman year of high school. And I think if I had to change schools for my kid, I would try to do it when they were going to be a freshman or going to be a 6th grader or whatever the transitional year in school would be, so then everybody is in that school for the first time. They may have their group of friends already, but then there's going to be other kids that don't have their group of friends, and you're in the same situation as a lot of the other kids. You're experiencing that particular school for the first time, although you are experiencing a public school with other kids for the first time, so it's a little bit different. I would just tell you what my mom's always told me, and now what my wife tells me, that whatever you think is going to happen is probably the worst possible scenario or close to it, and 9 times out of 10 that won't be the case. I mean, I don't know how you're going to get bullied. If you're going to walk up to someone and say, hey, my name's Joe, and they're going to be like, fuck you, Joe, boom, right in the face. That would be pretty rough. I'd tell you to switch high schools. I mean, that's a pretty rough school. Is there a metal detector when you walk through this high school, by the way? That's going to be... I'd be a little nervous if I was going to school at my house and then I had to, you know, get metal detected on my body and walk into the school and there were drug dogs walking around. But hopefully, you know, good school, and you can just make a group of friends with common interests. There was another situation. I mean, there's multiple situations like this that all kind of have the same answer. But there was a situation talking about how to make friends, and this could apply to someone's like, hey, he brought up my situation, but in reality, a lot of people leave that comment. And I find the best way to make friends is to find people with common interests. A lot of my friends in high school were people that I played sports with. I played track and basketball. Can you play track, or do you do track. I don't know. But I've had that same friends group since we were all young playing basketball together in the 3rd grade, and I played basketball with the same people up until we graduated from high school. So I had that set friend group, but I made some really close friends I'm probably even closer to than the athletic friends in high school who had creative interests because, you know, if you can tell, this is kind of an interest of mine, being creative. I do YouTube for a living, so that's kind of something a creative person might do. And I made some friends. One of them in particular, I'm actually going to go hang out with her tonight. Megan and I are going to go hang out with her and some other people. One of those friends was new in the school. She was the new girl, and I became her friend, and she is a creative person. And I had some other people that I became a lot closer to near the end of high school that had a lot of creative interests. And that's what I would focus on. I mean, if people share common interests with you, if you meet people in class that have common interests, that's who you're going to be friends with. If you're in college and trying to make friends, I always say join clubs, join a club of your interest, you know, a political club or a sports club, comic book club, whatever it is. Common interests are what make friends. So you got to find a way to have common interests with people, and just talking to them is the first step. Try not to be too shy. I don't know. I don't feel like I have great advice for this because I felt really lucky to have the friends that I did in high school, and I didn't feel like it was too difficult. But just don't be worried to approach anyone. High school feels really intimidating, and when you're in high school, it feels like the longest 4 years of your life, or once you're out of it, probably the shortest 4 years of your life. But when I was a freshman, I was like, man, I'm going to be in high school forever. And then when I was a senior, I felt like it took a couple of months. And I was just talking to a high school junior I know the other day, and he was talking about how he was worried to do something, and I was just like, look, man, you're not going to be in high school for that much longer. I regretted not doing some things in high school. Like I regretted not being in newspaper and video production for longer. I feel like I've stated this the last 4 episodes of Awkward Situations, but I think since school is coming to an end, the school year is coming to an end, it just is popping up more and more in the comments. But you just go for whatever you want to do, because once you're out of high school, you don't really, I mean, it doesn't matter. You don't see 99% of those people ever again. So why wouldn't you want to try to have the best experience possible? You don't want to sell yourself short. And I had a great time in high school. I know that, you know, Megan didn't have the best time in high school, and we both feel like we would do some things differently. So just make the most of it. Coming from someone who's not in high school anymore, I could not stress enough how much it doesn't matter once you're beyond high school. So just try to have the best experience possible. And I guess we'll call it an episode of Awkward Situations. I'm sorry I didn't have a guest again. I don't know. I don't want to just always have my friends on, because you probably already know their perspectives, but maybe people just want to see my friends, and then I don't care enough to ask like other people to do it. I want to have my family members on, actually. I want to have my sister on, but I just didn't see her this week. So I guess we'll try to do something again next week. I'm going to be making a lot of videos and then going on a trip at the end of the month. And I'm going to make some videos off of that trip. So that's my next 2 weeks that's planned out in my head. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you again sometime in the future. Peace. My little secret.